Climate change is skewing economic data, and the stakes are high for economists to get it right. So, with President Joe Biden's push to make climate change a priority in corner offices and on trading floors, the administration is arguing that climate change and extreme weather are incurring real, if not always well quantified, economic cost. Data about the industrial output, worker demand, and productivity, inflation, and earnings are critical inputs for all kinds of economic forecasts. But putting a dollar amount on the effects of climate change means figuring out how to measure it first and incorporate the cost of the changes that lie ahead. Because traditional economic calculus has no mechanism to do that. Economists and analysts warn that the statistical foundation is increasingly at risk of distortion or unintentional misrepresentation. So I'm going to link this article down below, but well, I mean, we have the carbon credit tax and stuff like that, but what I really want to talk about is, you look at a company like Disney where they've put out these reports, I guess you would call them reports, about how they foresee the future of climate change and what they're doing to make a real impact, right? Like, and they've been talking about this stuff for, I think the earliest was probably back in the 60s or 70s, where they were talking about like water table, because they're one of their cash cows is in Florida, right? Disney World. And what they are concerned about with, like, as far as hurricanes, flooding, and the potential for like it not to be there, right? Because they know that they built on swamplands, like they literally are below the sea level. So these are things that these big companies, they know about it, they're thinking about it because they need to be able to operate like, in Disney's case, they have the island, right? The Castaway Cay that they lease for, I think it's a 100-year lease or something like that, 99-year lease. And in that case, they need to make sure that they're protecting their asset and making sure that people know that they are concerned about it. So I think that there's some real thought that's gone into it. Maybe not enough action, maybe not enough money invested in those sectors, but there's more to come. And I think that as these 100-year storms become like every 10 years and every 5 years and every 2 years and every year 1 year, and like all of the time, as things like that ramp up, I think it just becomes more and more clear that like there needs to be some kind of answer, because we're not doing any favors as far as figuring out like what the future is going to look like. And with that said, that doesn't necessarily mean that everything has to fall on this generation, as far as like the cost of doing these things. But there needs to be an answer, because there might not be, in the far distant future, there just might not be as much of, say, land around us, as temperatures warm up and things get these continue to get dicey.